The departure of any promising young player is always a cause for debate. Just this month, as reported by The Athletic, 19-year-old Folarin Balogun looks to be on the verge of leaving Arsenal Football Club. As he enters the last 6 months of his contract, Balogun is now free to negotiate with foreign clubs and is close to signing a pre-contract agreement with one of those suitors, most likely from the Bundesliga. Amongst the fan base, the possibility of losing Balogun has prompted a surprising amount of anger, despite the fact the striker has played just 74 minutes for Arsenal's first team. So, this leads us to our question for today's video. What is happening with the Balogun and Arsenal situation? Why should Arsenal fans be angry? And finally, will the club regret losing the youngster? First and foremost, as of right now, the club and players' representatives are in contract negotiations. As reported by Fabrizio Romano on Thursday, the situation is simple. Arsenal want Balogun to stay, but Balogun wants to play. If the youngster is given more first-team opportunities, he will consider a new contract. If not, Balogun will decide among 15 clubs that have approached him as a free agent. In his most recent press conference, Mikel Arteta also addressed the situation. Listen here.
Well, you need three parties to make a deal. For sure, the club wants to make a deal, the manager wants to make a deal, the player wants to stay, and I'm not sure about the agent.
Ultimately, while Arteta seems to insinuate that the agent is perhaps at fault in this case scenario, we must remember that agents represent their players' desires. Yes, while Arteta is correct that it would be Balogun's preference to stay at the club where he spent the last 9 years, the 19-year-old wants to play. More recent reports have suggested that Balogun is now very close to signing a pre-contract agreement to join a foreign club, which means it looks more and more likely that the striker will be leaving Arsenal. With all this being said, why should Arsenal fans be mad? Balogun has played just 74 minutes for the first team and is behind both Lacazette and Eddie Nketiah in the pecking order. Surely, losing him would not necessarily affect first team performances. Well, there are two main reasons why Arsenal fans are, and rightfully should be, furious. The first reason is that Balogun's likely destination will be abroad. If he were to join another English club at the end of his contract, Arsenal would at least receive a fee. While most likely below his market value, this would be substantially greater than the tiny fee Arsenal will get if Balogun joins a foreign club. Furthermore, this summer, Arsenal rejected a £5 million offer from Championship side Brentford for the striker, and are now set to receive significantly less than that amount. Moreover, had Arsenal found a buyer for Balogun in the summer, they could have inserted a buyback or sell-on clause to afford them more protection if the youngster would become a star. The money is not the primary issue here, however. Arsenal fans have been hurt by previous instances of young players leaving the club, then fulfilling their potential elsewhere. As seen in my Ex-Wonderkids episode, players such as Serge Gnabry, Ismail Bennacer, and Daniel Malin have all gone on to become big names in world football. Clearly, this is a pattern of concern, and Arsenal fans, rightfully, do not want to see another gem slip through the club's hands. Arsenal are not a club blessed with limitless resources, and it's crucial they capitalize on their academy's pedigree, whether by playing them or profiting from them. In Balogun's case, it seems as if it will be neither. This is the question now, however. Will Arsenal eventually regret losing Balogun? At 19 years of age, Balogun is no sure thing. No one at that age is. An outstanding academy record does not always translate to success in elite competition. Just ask ex-Arsenal Academy stars Benik Afobe or Chuba Akpom, both of who were highly rated academy youth products who never kicked on at senior level. Another good example occurred in 2003 when Arsenal signed highly rated Italian striker Arturo Lupopi. In his last season before joining Arsenal, Lupoli scored 45 goals in just 22 games at under-17 level in Italy. When he arrived in England, he continued that form for Arsenal's reserves, scoring 27 times in 32 appearances. Even when he made his home debut for the senior team, he bagged a brace against Everton. All in all, his path to stardom seemed almost guaranteed. In the end, however, Lupoli became a journeyman, whose career included various spells at many second division clubs. For every Gnabry, there is a Lupoli, which means that although Balogun has shown promise at youth level, success at senior level is not guaranteed. Moreover, recent comparisons with Balogun have been a little unkind to Eddie Nketiah, Arsenal's current backup striker. The 21-year-old has scored 5 goals from his 11 starts this season, as well as becoming England's under-21's all-time record goal scorer, surpassing none other than Alan Shearer. While some feel Arsenal ought to have seen enough by now, others will point to the late development of the likes of Harry Kane, Jamie Vardy, and none other than Ian Wright. In fact, at 21 years of age, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang was coming to the end of a disappointing loan spell at Monaco, in which he scored twice in 19 league games. While Balogun's fate is no certainty, nor is Eddie Nketiah's. With all that being said, Arsenal should not be losing a highly rated academy product as a free agent. Whether it was a $5 million deal to Brentford last summer or some other offer, Arteta and Edu should have anticipated this situation arising. Balogun wants to play, and if he's not ready, as Arteta seems to have decided, then he should have been sold. Now, while it's not entirely Arteta and Edu's fault, as this was ultimately an issue the pair inherited from the previous regime, they had the chance to deal with it in the summer. They chose not to, and ultimately, that may become a decision they regret. Remember though, for every Gnabry, there's a Lupoli. In a world where nothing is for sure, only time will tell whether the club comes to regret their decision to let Balogun leave. As for right now, let's get behind Eddie Nketiah, who we mustn't forget is also an academy product. Hale End has been leading the way in recent weeks, orchestrating this mid-season turnaround. It's a shame Balogun won't be joining that group of Hale End graduates at Arsenal. However, let's get behind those who are. Bukayo Saka, Emile Smith-Rowe, Reiss Nelson, Joe Willock, and last but not least, Eddie Nketiah, the future of Arsenal Football Club.